Welcome back to a Hospitalist Diary. Today, we are breaking down a highly critical, high-yield clinical topic, acute right heart failure. Whether you are actively prepping for the USMLE or managing acute decompensations on the night shift, mastering the underlying mechanisms of right-sided heart failure is absolutely essential. Let's start with a clear clinical definition. Right heart failure, or RHF, is a syndrome driven by the dysfunction of right-sided cardiac structures, predominantly the right ventricle, but also the tricuspid valve apparatus and the right atrium. Ultimately, this dysfunction impairs the right heart's ability to effectively perfuse the lungs at normal central venous pressures. To quickly recognize and treat RHF, we need to categorize its acute triggers. Let's review the 4 primary categories of acute right heart failure. Number 1. Acute dyspnea in the setting of pulmonary hypertension. There are 2 major culprits here. Pulmonary embolism, PE. Patients typically present with a sudden onset of dyspnea, pleuritic chest pain, and a cough. However, always maintain a high index of suspicion, as symptoms can sometimes be vague or entirely absent. Acute respiratory distress syndrome, ARDS. This typically manifests as progressive shortness of breath and an escalating oxygen requirement. On chest imaging, you will see characteristic alveolar infiltrates developing within hours to days following an initial inciting event. Number 2. New onset dyspnea caused by primary right ventricular dysfunction. Acute right ventricular myocardial infarction, RVMI. Patients will report classic ischemic symptoms like chest pain, nausea, and diaphoresis. For your board exams and clinical practice, remember the classic triad: hypotension, jugular venous distension, JVD, and clear lung fields. This presentation is highly specific, though not always sensitive, for RVMI. Myocarditis. The clinical picture here is highly variable. Presentations exist on a wide spectrum, ranging from completely asymptomatic to subacute fatigue and chest pain, all the way to fulminant heart failure and cardiogenic shock. Number 3. The precipitation of RHF due to increased venous return. High cardiac output states. Always suspect high output heart failure in a patient presenting with HF symptoms, but who, paradoxically, has warm, well-perfused extremities. This is especially common in patients with conditions that drive a high output state, such as large arteriovenous fistulas created for hemodialysis access. Durable LVAD support. The implantation of a left ventricular assist device can trigger early or late right heart failure. This occurs because the LVAD suddenly increases systemic venous return to the right side of the heart. Furthermore, the rapid decompression of the left ventricle alters chamber pressures, causing the interventricular septum to bow to the left. This structural shift severely compromises RV mechanics, decreasing the RV stroke volume and exacerbating tricuspid regurgitation. Number 4. Subacute or acute onset of dyspnea secondary to pericardial pathology. Cardiac tamponade. Whether driven by a viral syndrome, a malignant pericardial effusion, or a post-surgical hematoma, fluid accumulation in the pericardial space can present either subacutely or highly acutely. This restricts right heart filling, precipitating rapid hemodynamic compromise. Recognizing these distinct etiologies of right heart failure is key to initiating the correct targeted therapies. If you found this clinical breakdown helpful for your studies or your next shift, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more high-yield medicine. Drop your questions or your own clinical pearls in the comments below. See you in the next video.